changes. Yes, massive Season 4 loot changes. So essentially, guys, we are going to be able to go full Super Saiyan God mode in this final season, because you are going to literally be able to pick your gear. Bamboozy, welcome. It's going to be crazy. Tidy, welcome. Yeah, it's going to be full-blown insanity, because you're going to be able to like min-max your tune. It's going to be cool. It's a fun way to play with Season 4, and I like what they're doing with Season 4. Deadric says they finally figured out that marketing is the back in my days. Epics mattered. Crowd is just marketing to people who hate everything. I think you're trying to say that, you know, they've been trying to cater to people who hate everything. Loot. Yes, loot is everything. Yes, I agree with that. Loot is everything. Get loot, get good. That's all I've ever wanted in World of Warcraft. I hate the extra systems. I hate all the added on shit. I play this game to get loot, and I get loot to get good. It's that simple. So let's read these changes real quick. So in this week's GG WoW video, Dratnos and Tettles explain the new systems and its implications, as well as speculate about what it might mean for gearing in the future. The basic way it will work is that any specific item on normal item level 252 to 259 in Season 4, just like in Sepulchre of the First Ones right now, can be purchased after killing 30 Fated raid bosses. You know how you're going to kill 30 Fated raid bosses? By the way, Fated is basically the Mythic Plus version of these raids. Basically, the raid has an affix, and that's what Fated is. It's not Mythic level raiding, it's just raiding with an affix attached, and it's going to be called a Fated raid. So how do you kill 30 Fated raid bosses? You join I Am Sam's stream in the morning, you join his raids, you'll have it within probably 3 weeks. So after killing 30 Fated raid bosses, the Fated raid rotates between the 3 Shadowlands raids weekly, yes. After the 30, there are then quests to kill 20, and then 10, and then that's it. You only get 3 guaranteed items, and they're all normal item level, but you can then upgrade the items to heroic and mythic level by using shards that drop from each boss on those difficulties. So you essentially get a level 259 or 252 item level piece of gear for doing 30, and then for doing 20, and then for doing 10. Those will be quests. They'll give you those gear. And then you can upgrade that gear via these shards. By the way, Blizzard loves the word shards. It's always sounded like shards to me. But shards, you know, they shard their shards of domination. We're going to get more shards here. It is what it is. Blizzard loves that freaking name. Yeah, shards of domination, exactly. So each then 20 shards lets you upgrade the item, upgrade any fated piece of level to that level, including the items you bought from the vendors. Interesting. So what's crazy about this is I've always said the mythic version of gear always looks exceptionally badass, right? But mythic level rating is so niche. I always felt like heroic level rating was endgame for most players, and then mythic was for like I made a career of playing WoW kind of endgame, right? Not many people will down the jailer on mythic level difficulty, but you know, most hardcore players will down him on heroic. So this is cool because this will be a way, I believe, to unlock the appearance of a mythic level rating item, right? Because you should be able to upgrade the level to a mythic item level. So that's cool. We'll be able to finally get that look, get that, you know, hey, looks matter. Looks matter. As much as item level matters, as much as getting gear, getting good matters, you know what else matters? Looking like a badass. So, I mean, people will be after this, not just for item level, not just for getting good, but for transmog as well. I mean, this could be your way to unlock, you know, that mythic level, that mythic item level appearance for your tier set. Yeah, mythic is the new game plus. Heroic is the new normal. Yeah, that's what it feels like. And normal is the new casual. And LFR is training wheels on crack, basically. LFR is just a cinematic experience. That's how I see LFR. LFR is just for people who, you know, I mean, hey, I'm a dad of 3, personally. I'm married. I have a job. But I have enough time in my day to still raid. But there are people who don't. And that's what LFR is. LFR is just, hey, man, you play WoW. You want to experience this raid content. You want to see what the raid looks like. You want to see the in-game cinematics. Come on in. Come on in and view this cinematic experience. Put your character on autopilot, down some bosses, and see what it looks like in here. That's what LFR is. LFR is pain. Yeah. Yeah. It can be painful. But then you get, what's it called? You get that buff every time the raid wipes, and eventually it becomes not so painful. Downing the bosses in LFR is inevitable at the end of the day. You just keep gaining strength every time you wipe. Fortitude, I think, is it, or something? I forgot what the buff is called. I haven't done LFR in so long. This system has huge implications and means that any player can identify the most important 3 items, like Jaethus the Prison Blade. Badass item. I loved having Jaethus. Gavel of the First Arbiter. Edge of Night. Atumbra, Shadow of the Cosmos. And, of course, the item I never got, but wanted to get, Old Warrior Soul. That's right. You'll be able to pick 3 items. At 30, 20, and 10 Fated boss kills, you'll be able to pick. And then, know for sure that after a few weeks of clearing the raid, they will own that item at the difficulty they are clearing. It's probably worth avoiding this system for Sepulchre items, since those already drop at the same item level this season, though for returning or newer characters that might make sense. It's also potentially difficult if you're a multi-spec player and you have to prioritize the 3 best items of your current compared to someone who only plays 1 spec. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you for the sum. G Fuel and let's down these bitches. That's right, that's right, that's right. Look at that. Summons right up to the boss. Thank you. So interesting. That's interesting stuff. I mean, as far as I go, I mean, I would love to get a mythic, basically Sepulchre of the First One's item level, mythic Sepulchre of the First One's item level, Jaethus the Prison Blade. I think that's going to be a very cool, it's going to blast up my, my numbers, which is awesome. This whole system looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be really cool. I'm excited to check it out. Let's see, I think this video's not that long. We'll check out what they have to say in this video. But overall, my thoughts on this system are great. It sounds fun. Sounds like a nice way to mix things up for the final season of an expansion and give us something to work towards. Let's see what this was all about.
Dratnos, oh my god, did you hear? After all of the feedback that the players have given the developers, they added shards into Season 4! I'm so excited!
Yeah, me too. So slightly different shards than the ones we knew from Sanctum, but a lot of changes coming into how loot is going to work in Shadowlands Season 4, and moving towards a deterministic way to get
the sword number. Yeah, exactly.
Item level, like,
Jaethus.
285? Something
He
like that.
278 to 285, depending on the piece, is what was stated.
Yeah, okay, so like 285 from the end bosses. And
end bosses would be
so
285,
basically up to Sepulchre eye level. Yeah, and so basically the way it's going to work is that you get this quest to kill a certain amount of fated bosses. The first quest is to kill 30 fated bosses, and the way it's going to work is the fated raid is going to swap each week, right? So 1 week it'll be Nathria, next week it'll be Sanctum,
correct.
Next week it'll be Sepulchre, and then it'll keep rotating.
It's going to be a fun rotation for the stream.
Once you kill the 30 fated bosses, you'll get an item that lets you buy any item from the raid on normal difficulty.
From any raid.
I know it. Where are they?
Yeah. And then You get another quest to do 20 boss kills, and then another quest to do 10 boss kills, and then it's over. That's
but why is this enticing?
So all in all, by the way, I didn't even think about this. It's it's 60 boss kills, 60 fated boss kills. We're going to be farming this as a stream. We're going to be farming the shit out of this to unlock all 3 items, which you can select. Then you can select, right? You're going to have to kill in total 60 bosses, 60 fated bosses. That's a lot. That's a lot of bosses. To get the first, and it looks like it decreases. You know, the first one's going to be 30, then 20, then 10. In total, 60 boss kills.
But why is this enticing? Why do I need normal raid gear?
Because when you kill bosses on Heroic and Mythic, they drop these shards. And after getting 20 shards, you can upgrade any item to that difficulty, any fated item. So any
they
item
haven't
from
said,
Season 4,
the one thing they haven't said, and I'm wondering, is how many shards will each boss drop? Right? Because that's going to affect, you know, how quickly we can upgrade these items. Because for most of us, this item level is going to be useless. The normal item level, 253, 259, that's useless to us at this point. So we're all going to want to upgrade right away. The question is, how many shards are we going to get for each boss kill? If it takes 20 to upgrade it, I mean, I'm hoping it's going to be like something 3 maybe, at least, shards per drop per boss kill. 5 would be nice, you know, kill 4 bosses, get an upgrade.
right, from doing the fated raid or from buying.
But they didn't
the
indicate
fated
that
item,
yet.
You can
Exactly.
then upgrade to that 278 to 285 level or the heroic level. So this means that if you want to jate this, real bad,
Right. Yeah, you make a good point, Epics. There aren't even 60 bosses between the 3 raids, so we're certainly gonna have to repeat content, right? You're gonna have to rotate through these raids a couple times to get this. Yeah, I already see the drama if the drop rate isn't clear. Yeah. They're gonna have to come out and specify what the drop rate is. And I'm okay with like the end raid boss maybe dropping more, the last 3 bosses dropping a few more. That'd be cool, but I don't want to. I hope it doesn't become a farm thing. Because already at this point, you would have farmed 60 raid bosses to get these items, to get all 3. I hope there isn't more farming after that. And then it'll just become tedious. But we'll see. I don't know. They haven't, like I said, they haven't indicated how many you have to get, or how many drop.
You can do fated raids for 3 weeks, right? Do that quest. You might get a Jathis from the 1 week that Kel'Thuzad is the boss, but you might not, right? And then if you don't, you can use your quest to turn in the item, buy a normal Jathis.
You know what's gonna feel bad, man? If you did the 30 bosses, right? You did like someone like me. I want Jathis at max mythic item level. I do the 30 bosses. I purchase Jathis, and that week Jathis drops in raid for me. Yeah, that's gonna suck. That's gonna suck. Especially because you only get to pick 3 items. So if you picked one of the items and then it drops the next week, yeah, effing Chad, exactly. It's gonna fucking feel bad, man. It's gonna feel bad, man. I wonder if they'll let you sell the item back that you purchased and then purchase another one. Because you only get 3. And if one of the 3 you picked drops in raid the next week, you're gonna be like, well, I done fucked myself.
We have a realm to destroy.
GRXY TV, thank you for the follow and welcome to our Scourge. Yes, you can. Yes, you can, Mr. Muslim Prodigy. NX, yes. You and your buddy can join. Yes, XS. Welcome. By the way, guys, no following required to join raid, but I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. We need heals. Yes, we do.
And then use your 20 shards.
That's what we're
upgrade it.
waiting on right now.
The next raid you do, you'll finish your 20 fated boss kills, or maybe the one after that, and then you can buy and upgrade another Jathis if you're a Fury Warrior, or like an Old Warrior Soul, or
Old Warrior
Edge of
Soul I'm going
Night,
for.
or
Guaranteed Old Warrior Soul, I am 100%. That's going to be one of the items I purchase. It's still best in slot trinket, man. And I never got it.
whatever you want, right, from any of the raids, and
Exactly.
Upgrade it up to Mythic if you're a Mythic
Then
raider.
always use
By contrast, if
another
you're a normal or heroic
death
raider,
knight.
just the normal.
Ent Grove, 5 months in a row. Thank you so much for the sub, Ent Grove, continuing to be a Death Knight of our Scourge. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Currently on a 5-month streak. Let's go.
Heroic items that drop for you, you can upgrade to the higher difficulties. If you're somebody who like starts on normal, then goes
Atlanta,
to heroic,
what's
or
up?
starts on heroic and then goes to mythic, you'll be able to upgrade that item eventually once you are killing those bosses. Or even if you only ever kill the first 5 bosses on mythic, you'll be able to make end boss items into mythic items off
That
of
would be cool.
after several weeks. Yeah.
And that is cool. And so that's basically just like a quick overview of how
Bob, we still have room, so just tell me who you are in queue.
the system, at least philosophically, is supposed to work. I think that in this opening post, they actually said a lot, and I'll just kind of read through this. It says, Season 4 presents a unique opportunity for us to try some experimental changes that might be too volatile for a regular season, but could still provide us with valuable data and feedback that we can use to improve the game in the long term. It's worth noting that the systems we will be talking about today are designed around specific goals that fit with Season 4's shorter runtime, and it's very possible that even if they're received well, they may undergo significant iteration to match the cadence and intended progression of a normal season content. Regardless, we want to show that we are interested in continuing to approach rewards from different angles and to listen to players' desires for increasing bad luck protection and making sure that in-game rewards feel like they're matching players' efforts.
Yes. And one thing I said was the whole ability to take an item and turn it into tier gear was that great step towards that. Towards making loot feel good, right? It made the vault feel good again. In a big way. Because this week would have been extremely disappointing for me, and instead, this week was great for me. Because I got 275 gloves from my vault, but I just converted them over to tier. And a normal... Before they ever created this ability to do that, I would have been extremely disappointed because I couldn't have equipped them and my item level wouldn't have changed, and I would have kept it in my bag and been annoyed every time I opened my bag and saw them there. So that they've been listening, that's for sure.
I think that this is actually super interesting, and I think that this was actually the most telling part of this whole entire post. So the specifics that you just went over about like how to upgrade the gear and stuff like that, really cool. But I think
Leo, Cloud, and Bob, and guys, I see you. Remornia, I see you guys in queue. I'm just waiting to get some heals. We need at least 3 healers to be able to add you guys. And I need at least 2 healers to even start running.
Looking at how
we are in a healer drought this morning.
This whole entire season works out, seeing how the loot is end up and like the bad luck protection and stuff like that feels, that's important. But then also like integrating that just seamlessly into the game. How is this going to feel like on a long-term level? How is this going to integrate into the vault potentially? And in addition to that, something that I'm also kind of looking at is how is this going to affect Mythic Plus and PvP? Because as it currently stands right now, it's only slated to be around 30, 20, and 10 fated boss kills, which come from those raids that you were talking about, from the Castle Naftalier, the Sanctum, and the Sepulcher. This doesn't really interact with Mythic Plusers and PvPers, but
Mag is good enough, yeah.
But like with what they...
Look, I mean, the way they're doing this, yeah, you get the 3 items. What I'm wondering is how many shards are you going to need to up... It says 20 shards to upgrade, I believe, but how many do you get per boss kill? And then once you pick your 3 items, is that it? Because those are quests, right? You turn in the quest, you select your reward. And then that's it. Look, it's a great step in the right direction, I think, as far as this
they were
system goes
stating
so
is
far.
that there needs to be further iteration. This is just going to fit with the Season 4 shorter runtime, and how is this going to be iterated moving?
And as far as someone's asking how long is Season 4 going to last, yeah, you know, until Dragonflight comes out. And Dragonflight, yeah, I wouldn't think Dragonflight's coming out till next year. I do agree with that. I think next year, yeah, maybe February makes sense. They won't drop it in January. I doubt it. But yeah, maybe February of next year is when we will see Dragonflight
on forward. And I think that these are the things that I am actually the most looking forward to. I don't know how you feel about the whole entire thing, though.
Yeah, I'm interested in that as well. It's also interesting that Season 4 is going to not increase the item level, right? It's going to be the first time we like go to a new season. And I'm surprised they didn't bump it by another 13 item levels, right? And just have the faded raids drop like 290, 290.
Yeah, they didn't up. He's right. They did not up the item level for Season 4, but I think that's good. Because item level bloat is becoming a lot in the game. Right? And then all bumping the item level up does is it like mitigates what everyone did before. So like all of a sudden, you know how we're requiring 260 to get into raid right now, it keeps upping it and upping it and upping it. And then pretty soon, in 2 expansions from now, we're talking about 1,000 item level. Right? We don't need that much bloat in an expansion. So I'm fine with this. Keep the cap of the item level where it currently is. You know, the last raids come out. We have mythic level, item level. What is current mythic level dropping? In Sepulcher of the first ones on the Jailer, that'd be the highest item level in the game right now. 285. 285 is what it's going to drop, and I think that should be the highest item level we can get. And I'm fine with that. And keep it there.
3 and 300 item level loot, right? So it's just like if you're fully kitted in Sepulchre Abyss, you only need a couple of things, right? Like you need to go back and get your old warrior soul up to 285 if you're somebody that uses that, right? Like you probably have a trinket.
That's what I want to do.
Nathria, a Kabbalist hymnal or something that you want, but
Maybe
it's
some
not
slight
like you
stat
need
ups?
any items. Yeah, stat ups like. But
Oh, here's a question though. Here's a question. So if I have Jathus the Prison Blade, I fucking sold it, didn't I? I did. So say I had Jathus the Prison Blade still. Could I upgrade it, or does it have to drop from the Faded raid to be upgradable? If I had to guess, I'd say it has to drop in the Faded raid to be an upgradable item. Everything else that drops from regular raids is not going to be upgradable. That would be my guess. And that would make sense, because then incidents like mine wouldn't be relevant, right? Otherwise, people would just hoard all the loot they can right now and then upgrade everything the day one. Or not day one, because you'd have to loot the shards at least, but they would hoard all the loot they've gotten from raid and then just upgrade it. So I'd guess the item to be upgradable has to drop from a Faded raid, not a regular raid.
Side grades or slight upgrades. We're not talking about a season that is really going to require you to go in here. We're not talking about gear that is like that much better than the pre-existing M+.
All it's going to do is let people min-max the gear. You will have access to the best trinkets, best weapons, etc. Yep.
Or even M+
exactly.
upgraded Valor gear that you'll have, right? That's 272. And this gear will be 278, 285, right? Just like current Mythic Jailer, Rygalon, Lords of Dread loot already is. So yeah, I mean, I do think that opening up deterministic gearing a little bit in the future, like expanding on this, building...
and end of expansion deterministic gearing, I think, is the key. Deterministic gearing is good, but I don't think they would do it for the entire expansion. I think this will always be like an end of expansion. Hey guys, the expansion is almost done here. Time to go full God mode Super Saiyan. Max your tune out before the next expansion. I think that's what this will always be, is a final season kind of thing. Especially the Faded raids will always be an end of season thing, I'm betting. They'll never do Faded raids in the middle of an expansion. They don't want you doing the old raid content at that point. They want you doing the newest shit.
On it is going to be valuable if they decide to continue it, which I hope they will.
I hope they will.
I hope they build on this in like an actual raid tier rather than just in this kind of like weird season. But
I think it's always going to be a weird season thing. I think it's always going to be a final season of the expansion thing. I doubt they're going to bring Faded raids into entire expansions the whole time. My opinion.
Incredibly heartened to see this. This basically is
because you bring Faded raids, right? You bring the shard system, Faded raids, and deterministic gearing into the middle of an expansion. You're gonna find these Mythic Plus raiders are gonna go they're gonna pop off on this shit. They're gonna go nuts. They're gonna max out their tunes every single raid tier, and then the next raid tier they're gonna be literally maxed out, right? They would have selected their gear. And then Blizzard's going to have to deal with the fact, well, now these guys are coming in more powerful than they've ever been before. Now Mythic has to be... There's a mechanic where you got to play with your toes on your keyboard to be able to do it. And Blizzard requires a webcam to be able to see that you're playing with your toes only to down the boss. That's the kind of shit that's going to start to happen. I don't think this is ever going to be a mid-expansion thing. It's always going to be an end-of-expansion, final season. Here it is. We dropped all the content. Time to max out your tune kind of shit.
Exactly the kind of gearing that I think the game has been.
I know, where the hell are the damn healers? I agree.
I think gearing in particular, that at its worst in this game is if you are that like 20th percentile unlucky, never see a Jathus killing Kel'Thuzad for 4 months, right?
20th percentile, by the way.
Yeah, I mean...
I see you tanked. All DPS and Q, just hold tight. I'm waiting for healers.
Like, I think, okay, if you kill a Kel'Thuzad for 4 months, 4 out of 5 people are going to have a Jathus that do that, right? But
yeah.
1 out of 5 aren't, and that's real bad. And this fixes that, right? All of those players now have a Jathus after a few weeks. But you can see how maybe they only need to do this because instead of there being one raid that you clear every week with 8 bosses on the loot table, there's 30 bosses.
And his example is great because there will always be luck involved in the game, right? There'll always be that guy who killed Kel'Thuzad one time and got Jathus. But what's great about deterministic gearing is, say you got the bad luck, if you're just you're a badass who don't give a shit, you can grind your luck out. Right? It's up to you. You can anti-bad luck yourself by just grinding and no-lifing if you have to. and that's a good thing, because a guy who grinds and no-lifes should have good gear. It's not fair that he doesn't. And having a system like this allows him to get the gear he needs, because his grinding will eventually pay off.
This is on the loot table.
What's up, Rez, please?
Each of them once every 3 weeks, right?
Sure.
So you could see how maybe they think, okay, this is a bit of a special case that calls for this experiment, but I could still see them deciding we don't need this in the future, which I hope they don't. But I would say don't get too sure that this is going to stay. Give that positive feedback. Give that feedback that like, hey, this made you
What's
really
up,
excited
Pronk?
about the system. But
I think that one of the
Yeah.
important things is like they may undergo significant iteration to match the cadence and intended progression of a normal season
Right.
content, which is exactly what you were saying.
and actually look at this as well. Season 4's shorter runtime is a phrase that exists in this post, which
What?
that
the,
is
what the
something
hell?
people have been speculating, right? There's been this speculation, like, is Season 4 designed to fill the content drought, right? Like, are they expecting to
I'm
do
gonna
a
go-
2023 Dragonflight, right? And if so, do they need to do a full-length Season 3 and a full-length Season 4 in order to have something until then? And Season 4's shorter runtime at least implies that's not the case. Now, we'll have to see, right? Obviously, it could be shorter by 1 month, but it could also be a half as long season as usual.
True.
That's something that
True.
hopefully we'll know soon, because if that is true, we do need a Dragonflight Alpha.
Pronk, are you trolling right now? Why are you going at him so hard?
That's the biggest issue, and that's the reason I bet most people, at least in our circles, kind of speculate that it's a 23 release date, is because like the lack of a Dragonflight Alpha, the fact that we still don't even have 925
He didn't do anything.
yet,
Why are you so mad?
A little bit up in the air. Is like, oh, so when would Dragonflight even come out if they haven't tested any?
I mean, I
of this?
think 925 could come out in the middle of the summer somewhere, and then
Yeah.
Dragonflight could release in the 925 isn't for me the issue. It is just like the where Alpha.
When is the
where,
testing? Yeah, when is the
yeah.
testing?
But you know, maybe they're just cutting back on public testing. Maybe the Rigel
Hold your opinions on Beast Mastery Hunter. Pronk's not having it. Don't do it. Hold your opinion, Epics.
on Lords of Dread Jailer, they're just like, oh, we don't need these scrubs testing our game for us anyways. We got it now.
Dude, the
Opium.
fact that they're actually willing to test the kind of like abridged or changing of this loot system in season 4 and seeing if it works or not,
Yeah.
and knowing that they can just kind of throw it out there because it's this abridged season, that's actually
is.
I think
That's what I
massive
think
thing,
this
and
is
it will
always going to be.
allow
It's always going to be a bridge season content thing.
most people to give better feedback than if it was just on a beta or if it was on an alpha, because a lot of the times you're basically giving feedback based off speculation of like the worst
How
results
will
or
this
like
feel?
yeah, how will this feel? And it's like with this, I will almost certainly know how it does feel and be able to give a little bit better feedback.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried that like they'll learn. Like, I'm a little bit worried that season 4 is going to just not be that popular to raid in, because like a lot of guilds are going to have 5 or 10 people that aren't that interested, and if your guild has 5 or 10 people that aren't interested in doing something, you know, the other 15 people have to try really hard to like crack the whip and bring them to those raids. So I feel like they're going to be
I still can't tell if he's trolling or not. I can't tell if you guys are playing around or what.
like cutting edge raiding guilds that don't do too much season 4 stuff, and I hope they don't learn the wrong lesson that like this loot system was the culprit. I hope this loot system is indeed like something that they will expand on going forward. I hope it's something like interrupts being off the GCD, or like flying, where it's like once they give it to us once, they can never take it away because we'll complain too much.
Are you excited? Okay, so a little bit off.
They'll
Are you
always
excited
take
for
it
season
away.
4? Because like for
I'm
me,
excited for season 4.
I think I'm like excited, but I'm like pretty medium on the whole thing. I think that the season 3 stuff has actually been really good, and I've been really enjoying it. So I'm not even like that. Oh shit, season 4, I need it now, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I like these. It's a lot of stuff where it's cool ideas, and yet I don't know how many times I want to zone into Sanctum of Domination ever again in my life. It may be 0 times. It may be 1 time. It's probably not all that many times. So all of the like cool systems around it that are coming sound so cool, but
I think it's going to be.
I'm
It's going to become a norm to end expansions the way this season 4 is going to end expansions, with all this kind of, you know, faded raids and the looting system and maxing your tunes out. This is going to become a norm, and I'm excited for it because I think it's great.
gonna have to see whether they can actually push me into that raid ever again.
Yeah, I think that's kind of about how
Sanctum of Domination is going to be painful. I hate that raid.
I feel about it as well. In addition to that, too, dude, like, can you imagine, like, if you wanted to be a parser in Sanctum, whatever,
I see you, Jelly, and we're just waiting on healers.
re-clear, you would have to get your like shards of domination and stuff.
Oh, God.
Like, look at all my
Disabled.
shards.
I hope that those.
Wait a minute, that's right. Those sharded gear, right? Sanctum of Domination gear has shard slots. I hope that's not the case for the faded system. I hope they just get rid of those slots because nobody wants to do that. Guantanamo, yes, welcome.
But yeah, we'll see what they decide to do with Shards Domination. I know a lot of people who've deleted theirs.
Mine are gone.
Quite foolish.
Mine are
all in my bank just in case this happens. So, haha.
Yeah, no more SOD, right? I know,
anyways,
no shards.
Beyond that, I think that this is like basically what we talked about last week with the Master Looter returning. We needed like some deterministic loot. I think that this is at least a step in the right direction.
This is certainly deterministic.
I'm interested to see what you guys say down in the comment section below. Are you guys happy with this? Do you think that there's any major red flags that you see right now? I mean, for me, I don't necessarily see anything that's like, holy shit.
What do you think about only being able to get 3 items over the course of the season and having them at this cadence of like after 3 raids and then after 2 and then after 1?
Okay,
how do you like that timing?
Shorter runtime, I think, is the key here for me. If it was a longer runtime, if it was a full length like 6-month season or something like that, I think I'd have a little bit more of an issue, especially if you're trying to get loot for Mythic Plus or.
Wait, are they hinting at the fact that season 4? So it's gonna have a shorter runtime, right? Season 4 is gonna have a shorter runtime. Typical runtime 6 months. Are they hinting at when the expansion could drop? So what would be 6 months? 6 months would be the max. Dottish, welcome. 6 months would be the maximum, right, of a season. That's how long seasons typically go. What's 6 months from now? This patch isn't dropping now, but say it dropped June 1st. So you have June, July, August, September, October, November. So that would mean expansion would be dropping in December-ish, but this patch isn't dropping yet. This patch is probably still another month out. So I think that puts us in like January, February time frame for expansion. I think it would. Another month or 2 before this one drops. Yeah, Season 4 will be shorter. Yep, I think that puts us in the February, considering they've said this is going to be a shorter season. Season 4 will be a shorter season. I'm pretty sure that puts Dragonflight in a February, around February time frame. Again, I don't think they'll drop it in maybe end of January, February, March at the latest. We'll get the expansion. For next season, but not next expansion. Yeah, Tidewell, but isn't next season the final season? Isn't Season 4 the final season of this expansion? So wouldn't that mean when Season 4 ends, expansion starts? That's what I'm getting at right now. I don't think there's going to be a Season 5. Which would mean that when this season ends, Dragonflight starts. So if Season 4 dropped in July, yeah, so if Season 4 dropped in July, that would put us at, July, August, September, July, August, September, October, November, December would be 6 months, but they're saying it's going to be shorter. It's probably not going to drop till August. Probably not going to drop till August. I'm guessing Season 4. And then, yeah, August, and then the expansion will drop in February time. No season will be a few months for last patch of an expansion. Yeah.
Other sources on like a guaranteed rate at like that highest item level.
I think it's going to put us in that time frame.
From just raid.
February, around February.
In a short run time, I'm okay with 3 pieces of loot specifically. It's kind of weird that it's coming out of all 3 raids because that's a big ass pool of gear to be picking from. But like, it's a for fun season. I think that it
is a for fun season.
Should be like maybe more
progression is done at that point.
I do empathize a little bit with like if you're trying to play like Prot and Holy and Ret, right? And it's like,
yeah, you get 3 pieces of gear per tune, not per spec. So if you're a guy who specs off specs a lot, you're gonna have to decide where you want your gear.
I gotta pick what I want my 3 items to be, right? Like if what I'm doing with those. I definitely empathize with people in that spot, but so I think I would rather see something like just like every 2.
Correct. They are removing AOTC next season and Cutting Edge. How many guilds have done it at this point? I'm guessing not a lot.
2 weeks, right? Just on kind of a consistent basis, and by the end of the season, yeah, you can buy like
Pronk saying a lot of people are thinking about jumping to Wrath of the Lich King for Season 4. That's possible. Blizzard don't care. I don't think Blizzard cares. As long as you're playing WoW, they don't care. Wrath of the Lich King for Season 4, I'm sure a lot of people will do that.
Like, I don't really see a huge harm in that, but I don't mind this as their...
Yeah, let's pull.
Like,
I'm going to ready check.
As just the way of like dipping their toe in, but long term, I prefer to see a less limited version of it.
Now that you say that too, dude, it's so tough because like a lot of the things that you're going to be picking
And once we get more healers, I'll add more DPS.
out from these things are either trinkets that are super positive for you, so like Old Warrior Soul, I think is something
they're
that
like
decided.
very spec specific for the most part.
Or they're like
Old
weapons,
Warrior Soul's a
like
big
Vein
one.
Ripper and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and it's those things that like may not even impact other specializations that you're looking to play, especially for
Yeah, I think it is a little ways off. I think we still got a couple months. I say August at the soonest we're going to get Season 4.
things like Warrior or Ret Paladin. Dude, I didn't even think about that. Man, that is actually just a really tough spot if you're multi-speccing. So there definitely needs to be some iteration on this. Maybe that's the
Interesting
only
stuff.
big red flag that I necessarily see is like how does this affect multi-classing?
Awesome. I think it's it's going to be a fun season, end of expansion season. I can't wait for it. And you know what else I can't wait for? Is to clear this raid. Let's get ready to pull, guys. Here we go. Everyone's ready. We're going to pull in 10,